90. Today what I have in front of me are all the latest boots that Adidas has out there in the market. So we're going from the power boot to the heritage or leather boots to the speed boots. I'm just going to be giving you a comparison, or basically just telling you what exactly do they have to offer, what's my general conclusion about the state in which Adidas finds themselves right now in terms of their boots and how they're competing with the other competitions, especially Nike and Puma. It's just kind of like what my opinions are on these boots, what I think of it, which one do I recommend, and what exactly do they offer you as a consumer. We're going to start off with the Speedportal. Actually, it's an interesting boot because what I do like about it is the sole plate. It's a very sturdy sole plate. It feels very firm and basically very durable in a sense. The studs feel pretty strong. The sole plate has it. This one was before they canceled the carbon fiber in the sole plate, so it still does include the carbon fiber, and I guess for that reason this might be one of the coveted or very desirable football boots, because right now basically the newer models are not going to have carbon fiber, and I guess some of you guys might want the carbon fiber, so this is something that you might want to be kind of hunting out there if you're in the market. What do I like about this boot? Actually, it's basically speed boots, right? I'm more of a speed boot person. I like that barefoot feel when I'm touching the ball and I'm kicking it. I don't like to feel too much clunkiness in it per se. The sole plate is very interesting. It's very intriguing. The patterns, which are like almost chevron but not really chevron, have a very good bite to the grass. There's a certain thing that when I actually step on the floor with these ones, I hear that like kind of like it feels like you're really biting down on that grass. And what I do like about it, how thin and low profile they feel, especially on firm ground where like boots with the cleats actually, or the studs actually dig in and you feel really close to the floor, and they just feel really thin, I guess, thanks to this carbon fiber. It's just very minimal in terms of what it's really offering in the sole plate, but it's also very, in a sense, like I said, it's very sturdy, so you do feel that sensation. This AG pitch, I think it's not bad at all, especially like I said, the studs they feel pretty firm, very strong, so I don't have any weird sensations on this that they're gonna break or anything. So that's kind of the good thing about it. Also, the touch on the ball, like I said, it's a thin upper. It does have some sort of texturing here, similar to what the Arila ball had, but these are like dimples and stuff like that. It doesn't really offer much in terms of what you feel when you kick the ball, so it's just there, I guess, as a design for design purposes. The only thing I really don't like about it is the sizing. I do have this in a size 10. I tried them on in the store as a 9.5. I did feel like it was more snug. However, I'm not sure if that's actually gonna be a solution for making this boot feel better on my feet. I did feel a lot of dead space here in this area, and overall it feels like a dressy shoe. Like the last they use for this shoe, it's almost like a dressy shoe. You see that it kind of points up, and I really don't like that. People say that it gives you that feeling like you're on your toes. I really feel more like it gives you a feeling like your toes are just pointing up. And when I just initially started using these shoes, that pointy part of the boot, I actually feel like when I would dribble, the ball would come towards me. So I kind of had to get used to that and just be aware that that's there, that kind of little angles, or what you might call it, that curve. After you get over that, I think it's pretty much, if it fits you well, it's a pretty good boot. I might run a little bigger, and I do use the grip socks, which make the feeling on the lockdown feeling a lot better. But I think that design-wise, if you put this in your wall and you just look at it, I think it looks pretty cool. But in terms of how they actually look in your feet, they look kind of like duckbills in a sense, and I don't like that. It does have some carbon fiber here. At sometimes I did feel like this wings, the stability wings on the side would kind of dig into my heels. Sometimes I felt that, sometimes I didn't, so I'm not sure what that pertained to, that I had a sensation, but sometimes I did feel it, and it was very evident, the stability wings, they are kind of firm. But overall, I think they do also just help with locking down on your heel. The cushion here is actually very pleasing. It doesn't, I don't really feel much of it, like it's intrusive, it's comfortable, it does its job. But this is basically the bulkiest part of the boot, is the heel. Other than that, this here is very thin. I just said before that the sensations of the upper, I don't really like it. It's basically synthetic, plastic-like upper. It doesn't really mold to anything, just stays the way it is, and you know, that dead space, I'm really not a big fan of it. So I hope for the next Silo or the speed boots, the Crazy Fast, they're gonna fix that. Maybe the upper is gonna be a little bit more supple and mold to your feet better than this ones. But the strong point about this is the sole plate. Like I said, unfortunately, they are not making the carbon fiber sole plate anymore. Next up, I would say the Heritage boot, the Copa. Here, I just recently got this, so I had a time to test this out. Again, the sole plate is pretty sturdy. It's not bad at all. It's, I would say, less than sturdy than the Speedportal because, of course, the carbon fiber. But other than that, it's kind of sturdy, but it's not too intrusive. Conical. And so in this kind of artificial grass, really pivoting is not going to be an issue. I'm not sure yet what it feels like in natural grass, but I'm pretty much a fan of conical studs. I think they're more versatile. They are kind of long. Other than that, I don't think it's very bad. It's a good sole plate. It's not bad at all. Now, the big change here with this being the high-end model is that the leather is no longer kangaroo leather, and it's debatable whether the previous one was even kangaroo at all too, but these ones are basically, they're telling you this is high-end leather, but this is calf leather. And not that calf leather is bad or worse than kangaroo, but basically they were selling us that the kangaroo leather was the better, more superior, more supple leather to have in your boots. And now because of people protesting kangaroo leather, basically Adidas and all the companies are basically moving away from kangaroo leather, and then they're using calf skin. So this is not bad at all. I think it's pretty soft. I don't know how much of how you say, like how much is gonna stretch and mold to your feet. Like I said, I don't have enough time with this to really say how much they're really gonna mold. They are pretty comfortable, went half a size down, so they are pretty snug. Ironically, even though these are like the heritage or classic style boots for Adidas, I feel like these are very speed boot-like with the leather upper. So in a sense, I would prefer to have a Copa rather than having a Speedportal if I wanted something as a speed boot. I just feel like the leather is just more comfortable. It has a better feel when you're touching the ball, and just overall what they did with the Copa feels really nice. It's again, this is my first time trying a laceless version of any boots, and I was kind of skeptical about it, but over years of working and developing laceless boots with Adidas, I think they actually have come to make a boot like this that is laceless, but it still has a really good feeling when it comes to the lockdown. So I did do some practicing and dribbling and kicking the ball and everything, and I didn't feel any issues. Maybe it's because the boot's new, so definitely didn't have any problems with that. Again, the lockdown on the heel, it's also a suede, synthetic suede material, as well as the lining, the insole lining, or the insole. Basically, this is a synthetic suede material here. And I guess it's supposed to offer you some extra grip, not being sticky, but the suede usually works better in terms of locking your foot down to the boot. So it does a pretty good job there. That's about all the synthetic suede they offer here. Leather basically goes to the forefoot, and I guess they increase the amount of leather they have offer in this Copas. I guess moving on, Adidas might start going into synthetic, maybe something like Hydro Touch or whatnot. But for now, they're still using calf skin. Definitely, I would say this is a very comfortable boot. I haven't tried one with laces. I'd probably suggest those ones because if you have wider feet, they might fit you very more comfortable. But this laces one do feel like a speed boot, how tight and snug they fit. So honestly, I would prefer, and I would probably just go with this Copas rather than going with a Speedportal for now, because I really feel like the material, the upper is not very favorable in terms of how comfortable it feels. One of Adidas' best boots right now if you're looking for the latest and greatest, because of all the things I said, the comfort, this leather, and just the sole plate is just very versatile. So overall, it's also very minimal, so it's just like as minimal as you can get with this, with like no laces, nothing crazy. It's just a sole plate that's very sturdy, and basically you just put it on and you can just go on about your game and, you know, not worry about your boots. It's a very cool boot. Lastly, we do have the Adidas Predator. So the selling point is basically going to be the Predator element, or these rubber elements here, the pink ones that you can see. They do stick out. They're supposed to grip into the ball and give you more curve when you kick the ball using this zone. Of course, here they do provide some sort of chart which tells you how much grip you're getting, and this is almost the maximum grip. If you do go for the laceless, it's going to be more Predator elements over here going to the arc of the foot, but because these are the lace versions, they cannot go and put the Predator element here. However, I think this is probably going to be the better option because you can tighten them as much as you need in order for them to feel really good in lockdown. The material they're using here is what is it called, hybrid touch. The hybrid touch is they're basically moving away from knitted because the last Predator that they did with knitted material was pretty off, very stiff, and the way they implemented the Predator element just didn't help at all. So they did stick with the sole plate, which in my opinion, and this is just my personal opinion, I think that in AG pitches it's a little bit too aggressive. It really, digs into that ground and just anchors very well. If that's something that you like, then go ahead, these are the boots for you. But for me, I like doing a lot of pivoting. I like to be more fluid in my movements, and I feel like this kind of get in the way, and also you might feel this in your knees where your foot is really getting planted to the ground and you're trying to pivot. I personally felt that in my knees, and that's why I kind of don't think I personally like this stud pattern. My favorite stud pattern would be either this, the Copa stud pattern, or the Speedportal. Of course, I think maybe these are a little bit more like advanced technology in a way, especially because of the carbon fiber, and these are not really adding anything special. It's just very aggressive traction. Also, they're very pointy, so it's something that you should keep in mind. Sometimes you might hit your shin with this and it just hurts more than usual because of how sharp it is. However, the hybrid touch, the hybrid elements here is very nice and supple. It doesn't feel exactly like leather, but it feels nice, soft, and when you do kick the ball, it does feel like a little padded. So it might be the more protective part of all of these boots. Maybe, yeah, the leather here it's supposed to be protective because it's leather, but it's kind of thin, and I think this just offers like that feeling that you're having more protection in your forefoot. So of course, if you get stepped on, it's gonna hurt, but it just has more of a protective feeling to it. The inside, the insole of, or the lining inside the boots, it's all this synthetic suede, so it goes all throughout the boot. I think that's a plus in terms of keeping your foot locked down. I like when boots have suede or synthetic suede inside. It just makes it feel more premium of a product, and this is exactly what they do all over. The insole is also suede, so it's a plus for me. And overall, it makes it feel like a premium product. And the plus about this is that both of this shoe kind of target narrow or to regular fitting shoes or regular width feet. So you can go and have narrow feet and these are going to be fine. If you do have narrow feet, this might feel a little bit bigger and like there's more room there. It does feel comfortable, and it's not like you feel like you're wearing an oversized shoe. It feels comfortable. Your foot can just like basically expand as much as it has to. But if you do have wider feet, this is basically the go-to boot. I think the Copa, if you have wider feet, you'll have to go with the lace version, not the laceless, because this definitely has no room to basically put your wide foot inside here. And especially this Speedportal, this is a speed boot, and usually speed boots have to be for narrow feet. But yeah, this one's definitely, there's a lot of room here to accommodate people with wider feet. The elasticated material here, it's also very stretchy, so I don't think you'll have a lot of problems. This for me is like the easiest boot to put on compared to all of these. It's not that it's impossible to put them on, but this one feels just the least effort. Overall, I feel that if the selling point is the Predator element, I'm not really sold in this Predator element. Personally, again, this is just my opinion. I don't know why I'm the only one who might feel this way. I personally just feel like this, and I have to tell you, and I have to be honest, how do I feel? This is how I feel. I don't feel like the Predator element really offers the sensation that I'm getting extra swerve on my kicks. I wish it did, and perhaps it's just the way I kick the ball. I'm not sure. Of course, there's some footage there of me kicking the ball, and maybe some of you can tell me that I'm kicking the ball with terrible technique. And you know what? I guess, yeah, maybe I am. Who knows? But I just don't think this really offers a sensation that I am kicking the ball and I'm getting extra curve and extra effects on it. Overall, though, it's a comfortable boot. It's wide fitting, and so definitely your foot can just like sit down in the boot and just expand and whatnot. If you do wear grip socks, it's definitely going to help with the lockdown. Think, where do I find Adidas in terms of the state they are in with what the competition is offering with Nike and Puma? I think they're kind of last place, and that's kind of unfortunate. But hopefully with the remake of the Speedportal and the Crazy Fast that are coming up soon, upper is going to improve. The sensation of how it wraps your feet is going to also improve. Who knows, but you have to see. However, I think this is the basically the downfall of Adidas, where they're not really doing so great, in my opinion. The Copa actually kind of pick up the slack where the Speedportal left off, because the Copa really feels like a speed boot, and then if you have white feet, just go for the Predator. If I want to rank where Adidas is, I think they're in third place when it comes to those three brands that are basically dominant in football. Talking about, in my opinion, it's a tough pick for who's first place, Nike or Puma. But I think what Nike has done with the GX basically takes Nike to stay in first place. Puma, in my opinion, is a close second, but definitely Adidas has to step their game up with this, and then maybe they can move themselves up a bit. And also I think they have to kind of reinvent the Predator a little bit more, because it's too clunky, in my opinion. It's just, everyone, especially if you look at the Heritage boot, is slimmer, and this is extremely clunky and not my cup of tea. Cheers. But either way, that's just my opinion, guys. Tell me, what do you think? Again, if you disagree, just leave it in a comment. It's okay to disagree. It's just my opinion. And of course, you can just give me your take on this. But until next time, guys, thank you for watching. Please like, subscribe. We'll see you in the next video.